Hey everybody, welcome back to the Overwatch League report. I'm Brian.
I'm Ben.
Ben, week 4 is in the
Yeah.
books. What'd
Yep.
you think? Just general thoughts right off the top.
It was pretty good. There was a lot of blowout matches though, which is something we haven't seen a lot of
Mhm.
with the goats meta. I believe we had 6 out of 16 matchups be X0, either 4-0 or 3-0,
Mhm.
which is pretty not necessarily something we're used to.
No,
So.
I mean, we'll take it. Boston won 4-0. Very
Yeah,
nice.
one of the blowouts was in fact in the Uprising's favor, so I'll take that.
Yeah, so do you think it's just at this point the teams have felt each other out enough, have enough footage to kind of, take advantage where they weren't able to take advantage at the beginning of the season, where it's kind of more of an even playing field?
I think that some teams have. I think that one of the teams that we have seen really improve from their early stage performance has been the LA Gladiators,
Mm,
who went 2-0 this week, beating difficult matchups of
right.
the Rain and the Charge, only dropping one map between those two matches. So that's
Yeah.
it's a pretty good performance by them, and it looks like they've kind of got the team figured out. We had Decay playing a little bit of Genji on Anubis
Mhm.
against the Rain, and then we have Roar, who kind of came in and has really improved his play.
Mhm.
Previously, he had been kind of discombobulated and didn't really seem like he was meshing with the way that the team was organized, but he's turned around his play a lot, in my opinion. So very excited to see. Unfortunately, they're done their matches and they barely didn't make the playoffs,
Right.
which we'll talk about. But I'm very excited to see what they can do going forward in stage two.
Yeah, and right now they look far and away the best team in LA. So
Yeah, low
there's
bar.
that. Yeah, all right. The low expectations aren't much to live up to there. Unfortunately, the Gladiators 0-7 in this
Even the
first.
Valiant, yeah,
Oh, sorry, goodness.
yeah.
Unfortunately, the Valiant 0-7 in this stage. No playoffs for them.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah, they're the opposite of playoffs. They're in the Shanghai Dragon spot right now
Yeah,
from
no one
last
wants to
season.
be there. Finally, the
Yeah,
Dragons can look down and be like, oof, tough to be
yeah,
them.
yeah. I mean, even the Washington Justice haven't officially had a winless stage yet.
Yes, got him on a technicality.
I mean, I assume that the Justice will from looking at what
Mhm.
their matchups are going to be. But yeah, it's not looking good for the Valiant. We can talk a little bit about some news that came out today
I think we should,
as
yeah.
we're recording this about some changes in the Valiant's structure,
Mhm.
where they have now let go of their coach Moon.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, yes, they had a hard schedule. Everyone knows that. They played tough and they played in some tough matches. But when you go an entire stage without winning even one game, it's hard. You can't expect to keep your job unless you're Hugh Jackson, you know.
And there are a lot of people comparing this to, or like saying that this is different than Hugh Jackson because at least like Moon had success in the
Right.
last season. Hugh Jackson never had
Oh,
success.
whoa, he went 8-8 with the Raiders once.
Oh, I mean, I remember the bronze, of course,
Right.
but
How you dare
and
you in the
yeah,
line?
it's a low bar success as
Right.
well.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. No. It had to happen. Moon. Hopefully he lands on his feet somewhere. But they needed to do something to change the culture somewhat because, eventually you just get in your head like, are we ever gonna win? Is is this just gonna be us for this whole season? You know.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does look like a lot of the issues were coaching calls. I
Mhm.
think that flexing Kuki the way they did, rather than starting Custa in that spot, uh, is really questionable.
Mhm.
There's supposedly some potential drama in the background of like why Custa is not starting.
Mhm.
Potentially with Moon out, maybe they'll be more comfortable putting Custa back in. And Kareev has been underwhelming on Zarya.
Mhm.
Like it's it's good that they have Izayaki. Izayaki is phenomenal. He's like one of the most impressive like new players this season. Even though he was technically on the team last season, he didn't really
Right.
play for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. So it's they have pieces. They just need to like put them together. And like looking at their matches this week, they barely lost to the Fusion.
Mm.
They barely lost to the Outlaws. Like these are not blowouts that
Yeah.
they're having. Like yes, they're playing messy. Like the Houston Valiant match was like a total like clown fiesta. It was an absolute mess.
Right.
But like they still almost won.
Right.
And like it's it's just disappointing.
Yeah. What can you do, Ben? The Gladiators aren't the only team that have been eliminated from the playoffs. Tell me who's officially on the outside looking in for stage 1.
Yeah, so just below the Gladiators, we have the Spark and the Dragons, who have also been officially eliminated.
Mm.
Then below them are the Paris Eternal, who are still in it because they still have 2 matches left to play.
Right.
But we can talk about what their chances might actually be. And then below the Eternal, we have the bottom 4 teams, the Chengdu Hunters, who nearly upset the Titans this week.
Yeah, it was exciting.
And then we have
to the wire.
Yeah, those 2 points on Nepal were also very close. They both went to like into the 90% and were 1 fight away on both sides. So they could have swung Sanctum, they could have swung Shrine, they could have brought it to a 3rd point. So yeah, and Vert 66 was also close. So that was a very fun match. And then also below the Hunters, we have the Mayhem, the Justice, and the Valiant, who have 1 match win between them right now.
Yeah, yeah, Florida killing it. Of those 3, the best.
Yep, definitely the best of those 3.
Exactly. All right, and so of the teams that are still alive but aren't in the playoffs yet, who do you think is not going to make the playoffs for sure?
Yeah, I was talking about the Eternal. I think that right now the Eternal are 2-3. They have 2 matches left. One against the Fusion, which is going to be their tougher matchup. Another one which should be an easy win against the Justice.
Right.
So if we assume, if we make the hopefully good assumption that they're going to beat the Justice, we can say that they're 3-3. And their playoff chances are going to come down to them upsetting the Fusion, who have looked really strong, other than the matches where they weren't able to play Boombox. So I think that it's going to be a really tough chance for for Paris, who has kind of been a little wishy-washy recently, to make that upset happen. And so right now I have them most likely eliminated from stage 1 playoffs, unless they can pull that upset off.
Right.
And then the next team that I have probably eliminated, but they still technically have like a small window, are the Houston Outlaws.
Right.
Who their window is the Uprising losing to the Fuel and the Dynasty losing to the Spitfire, but the Dynasty losing and doing better than them beating the Rain. So like the Dynasty have to lose to the Spitfire, but the Dynasty have to do better against the Spitfire and still lose, and the Fuel do, or then the Rain do against the Outlaws. So for instance, if the Outlaws 4-0 the Rain and the Spitfire 3-1 the Dynasty, then and on top of that Boston loses
straight up. Yeah.
Then Houston will likely make the playoffs.
You never want to have like a list that long to be your barrier to entry to the playoffs. So I'm not.
Right.
It's not impossible. Strange things have happened in sports. Strange things have happened in esports, but I don't think we can count on it actually happening for them.
Yeah, I mean, the Uprising losing is not unlikely, unfortunately. The Dynasty losing to London 3-1 is not unlikely. I think the big thing for them would be being put into a position where they probably have to 4-0 the Atlanta Rain, who have looked pretty solid so far this season. So I would say that the Outlaws at this point are probably eliminated from Stage 1 playoffs intention.
Mm-hmm.
And so that leaves basically three teams who are on the outside looking in right now,
Mm-hmm.
as well as, in my opinion, 2 to 3 teams who are on the inside looking out.
Right. I will tell me who you think is, or I guess tell me who you think are going to make the playoffs of these teams.
So right now, of the teams that are currently in the top 8, we have 3 who have clinched their playoff berth: the Excelsior, the Titans, and the Defiant.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that the Fusion, the Reign, and the Shock all probably make their playoff berth.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing is going to be the Reign, who have to win at least one of their 2 matches next week
Mm-hmm.
to most likely make it. Their matches, though, are against the Hunters and the Outlaws, so it seems pretty likely that they're going to
shot
win.
that they can at least win one of those.
Right, exactly. So as long as the Reign are able to win at least one of those matches, they'll probably be in there. But they are, in my opinion, they're the most on the bubble of
Mm-hmm.
those 3 teams that I think are likely to make it.
Right.
And then we have the Fuel and the Charge,
Mm-hmm.
who both have matchups next week that are a little iffy. For the Charge, very iffy. The Charge are playing the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans' 7th match is next week against the Charge, and that is a must-win match for them if they want to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they are very much on the bubble, and I do not think that they can make the playoffs if they lose that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very unlikely that they beat the Titans. So at this point, I think that we can probably say that the Charge are probably not going to make the playoffs, even though right now they are technically above the line.
Right. I mean, it's tough that they have to play Vancouver.
Yeah, it's definitely rough. They're another team that has very much proven themselves, and they have had a tough Stage 1 set of matchups, unfortunately.
Right.
So that puts potentially 6 spots locked in: the Excelsior, the Titans, the Defiant, the Fusion, the Reign, and the Shock.
Right.
And we have 2 spots left over, and those 2 spots are likely going to be filled by the winners of 2 matchups.
Okay.
So the first matchup we have are the Spitfire versus the Dynasty. This is both of their final matches of the stage, and they both need this win in order to get the 4-3 that will probably push them into the playoffs.
Right.
So we could definitely see the winner of that match almost certainly making the playoff berth. And then the other match we're looking at, of course, is the Uprising versus the Fuel.
Yes.
So,
do you have a prediction on the Uprising and Fuel? Taking emotions out.
I mean, my heart says Boston, of course, but looking at it, we have the Dallas Fuel's wins so far have come twice against the Dragons, and then I believe once against a Seoul team that has looked kind of wishy-washy and inconsistent, and then once, I believe, against the Fusion. I believe they were one of the teams to beat the Fusion during the week when Boombox was sick.
Yep.
So again, a little bit of an iffy win, but their back-to-back games against the Dragons did look solid, especially the one this week where they won 4-0. But Boston is looking at their height right now as far as performance. They again also had a 4-0 this week, and now that they have Fusions permanently in the lineup, they have Color Hex performing, in my opinion, better.
Yes.
Not perfect, but better. I think it's going to be a close match. I could definitely see it going either way. I'm obviously going to be rooting for the Uprising, but I think that it's probably like 55-45, 60-40 in favor of the Fuel.
And what day is the Uprising match on?
Both of these matches are on Saturday. So in my opinion, the 2 most important matches of this final week are happening on Saturday.
Yeah, we should definitely try to watch along in Discord if anyone wants to join us. He
Yeah,
can
for sure.
watch our hearts break or listen to them break.
Yeah, join our Discord and I'll be on there and crying if they lose.
But cheering if they win. All right,
Yeah, of course.
Ben, is there anything else you want to add before we close this episode out?
We want to touch upon the prediction for London versus Seoul.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
Yeah, so right now, like I mentioned, the Seoul team, the Dynasty, has looked very wishy-washy.
Mm.
They won this past week, but it was against the Justice, and they won with a roster or a starting roster that only overlapped with their previous starting rosters with 2 players.
Right.
So it's unclear whether they are permanently shifting to this roster that includes, Fitz and Marvel, all of these names that we haven't really seen,
right,
with players like Fisher on the bench, or if that was just an experiment against the Justice because they had no respect for the Justice.
Pretty mean, but possible.
And then we also have London, who, in my opinion, is performing at their height. They have turned around and, in my opinion, figured out how to play GOATs. They did lose a very close match against the Dragons. That I was very happy to see them lose because it was helpful for them to lose that match against the Dragons. But it was close, and I think besides that, they've looked relatively strong. So I am giving the edge to London going into next week, but that is probably going to be the closest important match of the week. So that's going to be an exciting one to look at.
Absolutely.
Like I said, the winner is almost certainly guaranteed a playoff spot, while the loser is probably not. So high risk, high reward.
All right. This is so exciting. We're getting down to it, Ben.
Yeah. Only 8 matches.
This first stage. All right.
Yeah.
So, Ben, where can they find you if they want to get in touch with you?
You can hit me up on Twitter at Ben Sharon. You can let me know why I'm wrong and all my predictions are bad, and then tell me, I don't know anything. So,
all right,
love it.
And you can find me on Twitter at TheFakeBmar. You can follow the channel on Twitter at WG Everything. You can follow us on Instagram at WickedEverything. Check out our blog at www.wickedgeteverything.com and check out our streams on twitch.tv/wickedgeteverything, as well as here on YouTube. And yesterday we uploaded a new episode of the Itch.io show, or the Itchy.io show. And it was really fun. You aren't going to want to miss that. So obviously go from this video to that one and maybe just watch all our videos. Just leave them on in a playlist. That would be really helpful for us, and we would appreciate it. And if you have any thoughts about how Ben or I are wrong about anything, of course, we appreciate them in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.